Okay, part 2 of our discussion on the psychology of groups. Moving on to motivation and performance. Going to go through these quickly. Social facilitation in groups. I believe in the very beginning of class we talked about Norman Triplett and his, where he realized that men on bikes rode faster when they had an audience, and so he had kids reeling fishing wire, and he timed them to see if they reeled it in faster when people were watching or not. And so he made the theory about social facilitation that we do perform better when people are observing us. Social facilitation is task dependent. That means that in general we perform better when the task is either well learned or instinctive. So if it is something that you have practiced over and over and over, you are going to push that extra little bit to perform better. Or if it is something that is instinctive, you just know exactly what you need to do, such as with the fishing wire. It would have probably been instinctive for them to reel it in more quickly, knowing that people were watching them. If it is something like if I was on the basketball court and going to make a free throw shot, I probably still wouldn't make the basket, namely because I haven't thrown a basketball towards a hoop in like 20 years, right? So that is not something that is either well practiced or instinctive for me. If it is something that is well practiced and instinctive for you, you will probably act better if you feel confident about it in front of a crowd. Okay. There is, however, also this phenomenon called social loafing. Social loafing, so while groups do outperform individuals, right? So in that little picture, as a whole, that group is going to outperform what we could do as an individual. Our output would be greater. There are also those that tend to socially loaf, which is the thought that, hey, there's 5 other people on this team, I don't have to give my all. If everybody gave 100%, they would be unbeatable, basically. So we experience, so social loafing is the reduction of an individual's effort exerted when people work in groups compared to when they work alone. Again, it's just the thought, I don't have to push as hard, I don't have to work as hard. If you're doing a group project, I don't have to do as much because everybody else, they'll come in and make up for it. We also experience coordination loss or loss of productivity due to the fact that we don't know how to work well together. I am really big on group projects, although you guys don't have any due to this being a shortened class. But we learn so much about ourselves, also how to work well with others, leadership, followership, etc. It's very, very helpful once we get a job in real life. So it helps learning how to work well together. 80% of the work of groups is done by 20% of the people. So if you don't want to be seen as a social loafer, give it 100%. Motivation and performance, teamwork. There are 2 key ingredients to effective teamwork: a shared mental representation of the task and group unity. So the shared mental model is the knowledge, expectations, conceptualizations or ideas, and other cognitive or mind representations that members of a group have in common regarding the group and its formation, the members, the task, etc. basically knowing why the group is formed and what needs to be done, how to do it, and who should do it best. It is a shared mental model that lets you see a task and best figure out the best way to do it. Group cohesion, the solidarity or unity of a group, results from the development of strong and mutual interpersonal bonds, basically the bonds between the members of the group. These bonds form not necessarily as a result of friendship, but more as a shared commitment to the group goals. So cohesion improves teamwork. You have a goal, you're going to work together to get it done. Performance quality, how well the team performs, influences cohesion more than cohesion influences performance. So a team that works together well is going to, a team that gets something done well is going to work together well. Them getting the job done and getting it done well is going to cause them to be closer as a team. Quickly, group development, there are 5 stages. If you want to think about this, either if you have like a group project at school or on the job, there are 5 basic stages of development to becoming an effective team. The first phase is the forming stage, where you're all brought together. You all meet each other. Second phase is the storming phase. You might find yourself in conflict. Some solution is sought to improve the group environment. Basically, that is the phase where you're getting to know each other. You're realizing there are some differences. Okay, how do we overcome these differences so that we are still effective as a team? Norming phase is where we create standards for behavior and roles develop. So not everybody is going to have the same role in a team. So if you have 5 people on a team, you might have 5 very distinct roles. Putting the people in those roles or where they naturally fall helps us to work together well. Performing phase is the group has reached a point where it can work as a unit to achieve desired goals, so they have taken those roles, standards for behavior from the norming phase, and they are actively working with them. They're working well as a cohesive unit. Their performance is high. Last is the adjourning phase, where you disband, especially if you're brought together just for so like with a group project at school. Just because if I put you in a group project now does not mean that for the rest of your college days you will be in the same group for group projects, clearly. And so if I did put you together for a group, or for the people that you're sitting with, your book club group, right? The people at your tables, that is your group. If you learn how to work together well, it will very much help you when you're doing the paper at the end of this class. However, you're going to adjourn. You will no longer be a group. Moreland and Levine's 1982 model of group socialization states that people gradually become a part of the group, beginning with investigation. What's this group about? Then acceptance, socialization, then becoming a full-fledged member with commitments. Once we are committed is when we go back up here. We find the affiliation in groups, the psychological significance of groups, where we find our identity, self-esteem in our groups.